This is the third video I've done on the Canon 80D. What we're talking about today is the likes and dislikes, the nitpicking a little bit, the wishes, the hopes, the dreams. By far, the video autofocus is my favorite thing about using this camera. It just works. I use all three modes, flexi zone, and then a flexible point, and then a face / just general tracking mode. I use all three of those. And actually what I like a lot about the flexi zone or flexi point is that you can actually go in and change how quickly it reacts to changes in the scene. But besides that, the autofocus mode where it's face tracking, which is just kind of the default mode, it just works so well. Like right now I can see how awesome it's doing at recording my face as I move around the frame a little bit. Today's video is a little different from the other ones in that I'm not recording straight to the camera bodies with my microphone. I've got an off-camera mic, it's a Zoom H5, and I've got that hooked up to a stereo lapel from Audio-Technica. Can't believe I've been recording for 6 minutes already. This is... Alright, so I love the autofocus. That's number one. Number two is I love that I figured out how to display the audio levels while I'm recording. That is such a big deal. I complained about it earlier. The only way I can get it to show is if I change that sound recording setting to manual instead of auto. I don't mind doing that. I'm a little nervous about it, but I'll figure it out. It's more important to me to be able to see my audio levels and know that my microphone is recording, it hasn't run out of batteries, there's no technical difficulties with my audio. Audio is super important, as you guys know, when it comes to making videos in general. The third item that I really like that I discovered and previously complained about is the auto ISO. You guys know at this point that I walk around and I film in manual, except most of the time auto ISO. These cameras just do a really good job in general, in my opinion, metering, and the image quality, even at higher ISO settings, has come such a long way. But even though I'm shooting in auto ISO, I really do want to know what it's choosing. We're at 9 minutes, this is ridiculous. So I figured out that I can go around and I can shoot in auto ISO and I can just half press on the shutter and it'll tell me for a couple of seconds what the ISO is at. And then it goes back to saying auto, which I love, that's perfect. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is why am I doing this? I want to give you a little bit more detail. I'm doing this for two main reasons. Number one, my boss's boss challenged me to use Canon for the rest of the year. But I love challenges like that. Number two, the rest of my team, which isn't a very large team, uses Canon gear, except for a couple of us. And I want to know better what their discomforts are. I want to know better what their frustrations are and where they're coming from. And yeah, I've used Canon before, but never this consistently. So this is going to help me learn and understand their complaints and their problems and hopefully help find solutions for them a little bit quicker. The last thing I want to briefly touch on is why do I not use the 7D Mark II anymore? And it is just because it doesn't have the articulating or rotating screen. I actually think the 7D Mark II is a better camera than the 80D. It feels a little bit stronger. I think it's probably got better weatherproofing. If I'm not mistaken, it has dual memory card slots. It just feels better. I think the autofocus is technically better. But the only reason that I don't pick up that camera is because it doesn't have a rotating screen, or just an articulating screen would be good enough. And that's because there are so many shots where I'm low or my composition is from up high and I need to know what my composition looks like. I can't be guessing. This Canon 80D is amazing. And I think that this camera meets a lot of people's needs in general. I think it's a fantastic camera for video, and in my opinion, it does pretty well in the stills world as well. As far as stills go, I don't think the autofocus is quite there. I wish it had more points. I wish it had more coverage of points, but it's a great just do-it-all camera. And just to quickly wrap things up in this third update for the Canon 80D, my favorite things about it are the video autofocus and the rotating, articulating screen. It makes video life on a digital SLR so much better. Hey guys, do you want to know what I'm nitpicking at currently on this camera? All right, here's your quick list. The playback navigation is super awkward. You take a picture, the picture comes up and displays for a few seconds. You can change how long it displays for, but you're not in the playback mode. You can see your image for a few seconds, but if you try to zoom in on it, you're really just gonna go into your autofocus modes. If you try to like scroll through images, you're not gonna do anything, or you might screw up some other setting. Instead, even though you're already looking at your image, you have to push the playback button to get into the playback mode. Just show me the image and let me zoom into it right away to check focus or image quality, or scroll through all my images. What's the big deal? Number two, it really bugs me that I can't change the file names from this camera. They're always going to be IMG underscore whatever number. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know, guys. I haven't figured that out. It's kind of lame that we're in 2017 and this camera body doesn't have image stabilization built in. Even if I have to deal with a little bit of a crop, I would gladly take that over really rocky, shaky footage. If I can't afford a lens with image stabilization built into that. And the last thing, in the back of my mind, I'm constantly worried that my SD card is not going to work. And it's the only one I have in the camera because there's only one memory slot. Let's look at my settings real quick. Thanks for watching. Please like or subscribe or leave some comments and questions, anything. I love the conversations. I love you. That was kind of awkward. And just for kicks and giggles, I actually have a Nikon D500 with the exact same settings sitting right next to the Canon 80D recording this right now. We're gonna take a look at the differences, I think, in a later video, but I'm really excited to kind of do more tests like this, as the D500 is one of my all-time favorite cameras from Nikon. I can't believe how great that camera is, but it doesn't have the video autofocus that Canon does, not even close. So I'm shooting in manual focus on that camera. That'll be fun to look at.